Way back in May of last year, the Sims team had the community vote on which 2 kits they should make. And it's been a while, but those 2 fan-voted kits are finally finished and their release date has been officially announced. So today in this video, we're going to talk about some Sims news. We'll go through those kit announcements and hopefully go through the base game update. As of recording this, the update hasn't actually come out yet, so we'll see if there even is going to be one today. But their release schedule is pretty predictable and there is always an update the Tuesday before a pack comes out. It might not be a big update, but there'll be an update. We'll get into that in a bit, but first I want to catch you up to speed about these 2 kits. So this was that original survey from back in May when we voted on the 2 kit themes, and survey is kind of like a strong word. It wasn't like the most interesting of votes. We just picked between 2 options. So there was going to be a cast kit and there was going to be a build kit, and we had 2 options for both. So for cast, we voted between Rainbow Core and Goth Fashion, and Goth Fashion is what ended up winning. If I remember correctly, I think that I voted for Rainbow Core originally, but I didn't really have a strong preference. Like I don't really care about Create a Sim very much. And then they had us vote for the build theme, and this one excited me a lot more. We could pick between medieval castle and high-tech futurism, and it'll come as no surprise to you that I voted for medieval castle. I do not care about futuristic modern style builds. I have a history degree. Like this medieval castle thing is right up my alley, and medieval castle is what ended up winning the poll. So we've kind of known what these 2 kit themes were gonna be for like a year now. It's actually really interesting to think about how long it took to get from this concept to the actual release, because it gives you a little bit of insight into how far ahead they're planning all of these things. And it was really fun to get a chance to vote again about a pack for The Sims 4. I don't know how many of you remember this or were like around back then, but we actually voted for both Laundry Day and Nifty Knitting, and those were a way more complex voting and survey system. They had us voting for everything in those packs. We voted for theme, we voted for gameplay content, we voted for the name of the pack. They showed us a ton of different concept art, and we voted for like all of the cast items individually. They had like all kinds of different clothing and items and had us ranking stuff to see what would actually end up getting made. So that was just a way more involved process than this, and I really enjoyed that. It was kind of interesting getting to be that heavily involved and having the community that closely involved. I understand that that was probably a nightmare for them to organize, but it was a really cool experience for us as players. And they also shared a lot more insight, like behind the scenes development type stuff, through blog posts during that time. So I was kind of hopeful that with these kits we would get some blog posts or like some updates about the process after we voted, but we didn't end up getting that. This is actually the first we've heard of these kits since they were first announced last year. We knew we were going to be getting them in the early new year, but that was kind of it. Like they didn't really talk about it aside from this original poll. And like I was saying, this morning they officially announced these 2 kits. So The Sims posted this tweet. They said, "The community voted kits are here. Build with the classic grandeur of a castle or bring out your inner grim with the Sims 4 Castle Estate kit and the Sims 4 Goth Galore kit." I'm actually really intrigued by those names because I sort of thought that medieval castle and goth fashion were gonna be the official names. I'm not mad about the new ones, but it's gonna like take some getting used to adjust to these new names, because I've been calling it the medieval castle kit for like a year. This is the kind of thing that they definitely could have had us vote on. I think it would have been kind of fun to be able to vote as a community on the name. I'm sure a lot of you might know the meme reference about the Love to Knit pack. Like a lot of people in the community, maybe YouTubers, might call Nifty Knitting Love to Knit. That's because we voted for the name and the icon of that pack, and Love to Knit, like LUV number 2 knit was one of the options, and I was really campaigning for that one to win. It didn't. I agree that Nifty Knitting is objectively a better name, but it's still funny that that was like an option at the time. So it would have been fun to have like that sort of insight on this, but I get it. I can see why they wouldn't want to involve us. If I owned a brand like The Sims, I also wouldn't want to involve me. So I understand. But here's the little teaser video that they posted along with this kit announcement. These are always interesting because they're like kind of artsy, and it's a drawing obviously instead of being official renders. I love the inclusion of Grim. He is very fun and I think he deserves to be here. I'm kind of interested in the fashion kit because I've just never really thought about it that much. Like, I just don't really care about Cass, as we all know. I'm way more of a builder, but a lot of my friends are like dying to see the Goth fashion kit. So seeing my friends get this hyped for it is making me feel a bit more hyped for it. The group chats are like dying at the thought of this kit. Meanwhile, I'm just staring at this longingly. So they did post some screenshots of each individual kit. They posted this one: embrace the past with the current in the Sims 4 Castle Estate kit. From stone walls to leaded glass windows, create the perfect backdrop to your next story. And we got these two screenshots. This one has the Goth family in it. This kind of shows off like some darker swatches of the castle kit. I like how the bricks are looking a little bit dirty. I don't know if you can tell, but this to me is very obviously two different wallpapers, because they have one that's dirty all over, and then this one's kind of like ombre effect of dirty, where it's like clean at the bottom and it gets dirtier as it goes up. I'm hoping that there's a third wallpaper that is entirely clean, but I guess we'll have to see. There's also a new foundation that I'm seeing. We've got this cool new fence. These are some new trims. There's at least 2 new trims or potentially freezes here. What I think is happening is that this little piece is a freeze, and then these up top on the roof are fences. I'm seeing 2 new doors at least. This is like a complete archway, and then this one has a door in the middle of the arch. Oh, this one, I think that's a different one. So maybe we have 3 doors too. There's a new column. We can see some like support beams. We have at least 2 new windows. This is kind of what has worried me a lot about this pack, is like I fear that there's not going to be enough variety in window and door like shapes and styles for it to work for a full building. There's also a spandrel that should match the fence and the column. I really like the look of this, like the vibes of this place I feel like are very interesting, so I'm getting kind of excited. This is the other screenshot. It's kind of a bigger, wider view of a huge castle. In this one, okay, so you can see there's a clean wallpaper here too with no dirt on it, and then you can see the dirty one up here at the top. We've got a couple different window sizes. So we have the double wide arched window, which might actually be 3 tiles wide. There's a single wide arched window, and then we have like the little tiny arched window. And then I think that these square ones are probably just 1 window. I think that they've just combined them together a lot, like stacked it on top of each other here, and then put them next to each other here. It still looks okay. Like they've done a full ginormous building. I just kind of would like to see like maybe 1 or 2 extra windows. It's really hard to do big builds of such a very specific style without a lot of window and door options, because when you want to cover a whole building like this, you need some like size variation, and obviously nothing else in the game matches this nicely. Maybe some vampire stuff could work, but like it's not the same. So it's hard to do big builds with kits. I have this problem with the Courtyard Oasis kit where it's like really beautiful, but it just doesn't have quite enough options, but we'll see. It's hard to tell just going off of the screenshot. Like I'd have to look at it myself in game. I think it's kind of interesting how they built this. I think that these little like turret parts, I don't know what the correct wording is. I should look up on my castle architecture terms, but I think these are half walls, making a little square, and they've put fences in between them. They've also put a moat around this, which is really funny. If you've been to my Twitch streams, my community has like a big meme about moats. When I say it out loud, it sounds kind of ridiculous, but it's because this one time I did like a community decides my build challenge, and people were like trying to force me to add a moat around my house in Strangerville, and then it kind of just devolved, and now every time I do a build, half the chat is like, you know what this needs? It needs a moat. This one has a moat. So we get to like really embrace the moat thing now with the castle idea, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. I love how they have Nancy and Jeffrey like taking a photo in front of the castle. The implication that they own this castle is kind of funny. They did post, it looks like a blog post about this kit as well. We can see those same 2 screenshots. Hear ye, it's time to capture the eyes of the neighborhood with your grand, authentic castle outfitted with iconic staples of the past. Stackable, ornate windows. Yeah, okay. They're trying to justify having only a couple window sizes. That's fine. This is the full set of build features. So it looks like we have that wallpaper, and it has a bunch of different swatches on it. It looks like there's a new floor tile. We have the column, handful of fences, and like stair trims. I'm happy that these fences, they come in a stone and a wood color, because this to me looks like wood, but it seems like it also comes in a matching stone swatch. When I look at this, it kind of seems small to me, but I also have to remember that it is a kit and it is a build kit. So it's not a furniture kit. It's very specifically different build features like freezes and columns and all of that stuff. So this might not appeal to the average Sims player. If you aren't a builder, you're probably not gonna like this. I am a builder and I love old things. So I like the idea of this, but I can see why it wouldn't really be appealing to a lot of people. There are 3 doors and it looks like 2 different arches. So that's nice because there's probably a couple different wall heights. I wonder if this one's a bit smaller, but you can't really tell from these tiny icons. I usually try to avoid looking at full item lists before the pack comes out, but it's just right here, so I can't help it. This is why I actively avoid any kit leaks. I try so hard to not look at them because I want to be surprised when the pack comes out and like experience it and stuff. I don't really want to form pre-opinions about packs just from leaks, especially when I'm excited about it. Like I kind of want to wait until it actually comes out and I can see it for myself and make my own judgment. But anyway, I've looked at all these now. So let's go back to the tweet for a second so we can see the goth fashion kit. So this one says, style your Sims in the latest contemporary goth fashion with the Sims 4 Goth Galore kit. With a new dark wardrobe and moody makeup, your Sim will be the best dressed in town. Oh, I'm excited about the makeup. We don't usually get a lot of makeup. They've been trying harder to add more stuff like that into the game recently, so I'm intrigued by that for sure. So usually these kits have no hairstyles. It's like makeup, clothing, accessories specifically. I am seeing what looks to be at least 1 new tattoo. I think that tattoo is new. And this tattoo, it's hard to tell because it's like underneath a shirt and just poking through a bit, so I can't really see it. That one might be new as well. That also might be this same tattoo, although I can't really tell. It looks like maybe it's not. This image is small, but these new earrings are really cool. I was kind of hoping to get some new piercings and like mostly just more jewelry because we don't have that much of it and we don't often get a lot of new jewelry. Honestly, jewelry and tattoos are like probably one of the least added to categories in cast, so it's fun to get more stuff like that. I feel really ill-equipped to like make judgment on this sort of pack because this is just so not my personal real life style. I use this kind of thing in The Sims. Like I would dress my Sims in this clothing, but like look at me. Like this is just, it's not me, okay? I like it. It's cool vibes. It's not my vibes. So I feel kind of silly even like sitting here pointing out stuff and talking about it. I really like this Sims outfit. I think this one is standing out the most to me. I'm seeing at least a couple new makeups. I think that this eyeshadow is new and this eyeshadow is obviously new. It's hard to tell about these two because I can't really see the full thing, but that's maybe like 3 new makeup options. I'm hoping for a new lipstick too. Everybody here has dark lipstick on, so I wouldn't be surprised if we did get a new lipstick. In the next photo, oh my god, it's Cassandra Goth. She deserves it. She should be here. We need Cassie in this. It looks like this is a new eyeshadow, so we have at least 3 eyeshadows, a ton of new shirts and stuff. I wonder if this is a necklace or if it's attached to the outfit, and I really cannot see her earrings to make a judgment there, but I think those are maybe new. Let me look at their blog post first. So, oh my goth. Your Sims are in for a real grim treat as they embody the darkness of goth fashions through a closet full of stark black clothing full of textures and embellishments. Variety isn't always exclusive to color, and this is expressed in this iconic fashion style. What are you trying to say? Are you implying that there's like no swatches? That was one of the things that I worried about when we first voted on this kit because obviously like it needs to be in dark colors, right? But I don't want it to be like 2 swatches. It looks like there are some other options, like these Sims have some lighter colors on, but I want to see things come in like deep reds, deep purples, like just so we have some more variety because it's The Sims. Like we need to have more options in the game. I'm feeling a little bit more reassured by the colors they've used in this particular screenshot, so I think it should be okay. So it looks like for sure we have a new lipstick and then 2 new eye makeup things. We have some gloves, there's a bracelet, we do have a necklace, and I might be being silly, but is there only 1 new piercing? Or maybe the earring has like a different piercing on each side, and that's why it's not looking like the one from the screenshot. Because I saw Cassie had that one, but I can't see what this Sim's other ear looks like. So maybe the other ear is that. That's fine, I guess. It's The Sims 4. I just kind of always wish that we had more variety. Like if I could choose to mix and match them myself, I would prefer that. But it's a kit, so it's not gonna have that. I really cannot look at these that closely and like make a call on if I like them or not because it's so small, but the clothing looks decent. I think I'll use this. The thing about the fashion kits is that I always like them enough. Like I I always use the stuff from them for my Sims. There's always a couple items that I really love. Some, of course, I like more than others because, you know, everyone has their own style preferences and stuff. But I never feel like blown away by the Create a Sim kits. They all have nice items and I can appreciate the vibes. I think I just really don't care about cast. I don't think that it's fair for me to like criticize this kit just because I don't like Create a Sim items. I like the medieval build kit and I want to build. I don't really care about doing clothing for my Sims. But a lot of people do. Like a lot of Sims players use the Sims 4 as like a dress-up simulator, and that's so fun and so cool. So this is gonna be cool for a lot of those people. Like I was saying, a lot of my friends are like really into the vibes of this. So I am excited for you. I think you're gonna like it. And it looks like both of these are coming out on Thursday, so January 18th. I am intrigued. I think it's cool. I hope that they do more voted kits. It's, I think, kind of fun that people got to be involved in this, even if like very briefly. It's fun to have a thing like this to look forward to for so long and like compare the finished product to that original concept art. This is that original image. So it is just kind of interesting to see what they were first thinking of and then see it brought to life in the game. Same with the fashion stuff. I don't think that we got any of these exact items. This again is just concept art. It's just like kind of a vision for us to be following, but it is just really cool to go from this and then see like the full final thing officially finished and in the game. So hopefully you guys are excited too. I will of course make a full review video on Thursday when the packs are actually out. And now I guess we just wait for that base game update to come out so we can talk about the patch notes. Hello, I am back and I have almost had enough time to record an entire Legacy episode in between waiting for the patch to drop and then the patch notes to come out. It is currently 1:44 p.m. The patch came out 45 minutes ago, but the patch notes are finally released. This is gonna be probably a relatively small update with just some bug fixes, so I'll link these patch notes down below in case you want to read the full things yourself, and I'm just gonna go through all of the highlights. Whenever I read these, I always uncover some things that I didn't realize were happening. Like, for example, apparently masterpiece paintings were changing back down to excellent quality after reloading the save. That's bad, but I guess they fixed that. Your Sims no longer get canning-related sentiments when Father Winter gives them a gift unrelated to canning. That's been happening for years. And they finally fixed it. I almost feel kind of sad about that. Oh, this is a very small patch. Oh, this is deeply upsetting. Okay, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. The only for rent bug fix is that the main menu screenshots have better resolution now. The rent pack has all kinds of bugs, and the only thing they fix is the screenshots being better resolution. Who cares about the screenshots? Oh no. Okay, I understand that the pack release and then this patch release were probably affected by like a lot of people being out of office for the holidays. I know it's been a couple weeks since the holidays, but they usually do like one patch a month, and now there has been a chunk of time that they were out of office during this last month. So that probably affects why they haven't done too many bug fixes here, but there's quite a few bugs that I would consider to be relatively game breaking. For example, I'm still getting that visual rent glitch where it says it's like billions of dollars for rent. The game is still kind of laggy when I'm building residential rentals, so I still build them as regular residentials and then swap it at the end. With seasons, there's a bug right now where the holidays don't show up for everybody in your household. I've actually encountered this in this save, my Legacy Sims, where like one sim will see that it's Winterfest, but the next one won't see any holiday at all. So like only about half the household can see the holiday. So if you wanted to celebrate the holiday, well, too bad, because it's not even a holiday for half the Sims in your house. And that's just like a couple examples of like the big bad ones that I was really expecting them to fix today. Obviously there's a lot more than that out there, but I'm kind of disappointed. I wasn't expecting new content, but I was expecting a bigger bug fix patch than this. This to me is like kind of shockingly small. Our stunning poolside nails, okay. Is that necessary? No longer leave a texture artifact on the button-up shirt. Okay, like that's good. I'm glad they fixed that, but I just feel like there's some bigger stuff, higher priority stuff that I would have liked to have seen. Again, obviously understanding that bigger, higher priority stuff is also a bigger deal, so it takes longer to fix, but I wish that they had like talked about it. I wish that we had like maybe a laundry list with those things listed, just so I would feel a bit better about like the acknowledgement of the problem. Okay, well, this kind of ruins my excitement about the kits, if I'm being honest. I will link these patch notes for you, but I don't know if you care to read them. They're not that interesting. And of course, on Thursday, when those kits officially come out, I'll do a full video showing off everything in the pack and talking about whether or not I think it's worth buying. It's hard to say that, even after seeing the items today. I haven't like actually seen the items in game. Sometimes the kits have like weird shadow problems, so we'll go through all of that once we can see it for ourselves and do a full review in a couple days. Whenever there's Sims news or base game updates, I always make a video like this going over all of the new stuff, so make sure you're subscribed so I can kind of keep you in the loop in the future. And with that, I am going to end this video right here, and I will catch you all tomorrow. Okay, bye everybody. I am so sad. Why? Why is the patch so small? Maybe I'm silly for having higher expectations, but that's way smaller than I was expecting.